In this video, I'll be answering the most ultimate question of all time. How do we spawn game objects in Unity? Oh, there's water on my shirt. Hi, and in this video, we'll learn how to spawn game objects in Unity engine. I will start with an empty scene. First, let's create the object that we have to spawn. So I'll go to the hierarchy, right click, 3D object, cube. You can have a look at the inspector for the cube. I will then create a simple material and then apply it to the cube. And now let's create a C# script. So we'll go to the project window, right click, create C# script, and we will name it spawner. And I will double click to open it in Visual Studio. Once the script opens, we'll get rid of the update function. And let's start spawning. So in order to spawn an object, we use this method called instantiate. As you can see here, it belongs to the class object and returns an object. In other words, it clones the original object and returns the clone. So at start, we'll write instantiate followed by a couple of parentheses. And inside these, we are going to specify the object that we are going to instantiate. If you look at the Unity docs for instantiate function, you will see that it contains 5 different overloads or signatures. The ones I use quite often are the 4th and the 5th signatures. The 4th signature allows us to specify a position, which is a vector 3, and a rotation, which is a quaternion. And the 5th one requires a transform, which can act as a parent for the spawned instances. Next, we need to create a reference for the game object that we need to spawn. So we'll create an instance of type gameObject and name it Object.to-be-spawned. This gameObject class inherits from the object class. In order to make this field visible in the inspector, we can either make this field public, or you can use the serialized field attribute and keep it private. And back over here, we'll specify the object to be spawned. And we'll go back into Unity, but we haven't assigned the script to anything. So we'll create an empty game object and name it spawner, and then drag and drop this script into the inspector. And I'll press this dot here and then select the cube. Or you can just directly drag and drop this from the hierarchy. If we play now, you can see that there are 2 cubes in the hierarchy, which means our spawning worked. I'll just select this and move it away. And now we have a cube, which is a clone. But now let's select the cube and move it a little bit. And now if we play the game, interesting. Now they are on top of one another. So we can confirm that using the first signature will take in the transform of the original object into account. So if we want to spawn it at a specific location, let's say back at the center, what you can do is to specify a position which is going to be a new vector 3, 0, 0, 0, or you can replace it with vector 3.0, which is exactly the same thing. And we need to specify a quaternion for the rotation, which is going to be quaternion.identity, which means 0 rotation on all axes. And now we have a cube at this location, while the clone is spawned at the origin. Now we learn how to create a parent for the clones. Now we'll create an empty for the parent and name it cubes. But let's take this a step further. We will create an integer to hold the number of items that we can spawn. And at start, we'll create a for loop and do the spawning inside. Let's give it a random position by using the random.range function. And now we can specify the number of items. Let's set this to 3. We'll also create a serialized transform called parent and assign it as the 4th argument to set it as a parent. So if you go back to spawner, we can now specify the parent game object as the parent. Now if you hit play, you can see that the 3 cubes will spawn and all of them will have a common parent. If this doesn't work for some reason, you can try using Object.Instantiate or gameobject.instantiate instead. And that's how you do it. You can now call this method anytime during the game and it will spawn any object. Now if you have multiple scenes and you have to spawn the same cube, it's going to be difficult to go to each scene and then make changes to it if you need it. But luckily for us, we can create a prefab out of it and then spawn the prefab instead. We can drag and drop a game object to the project to create a prefab. We can now delete the original cube. And now in the spawner, we can drag and drop this prefab into the field instead. You can see that the prefab gets instantiated. Notice how these things are called clones. This happens because they are separate entities and they have no link back to their prefab. their links are broken, they have no recollection of one another. Let's just put a prefab in the scene. You will notice that this is blue, which means you can right click and perform prefab operations like selecting the prefab itself. But with our spawned clones, we cannot do that. If you want that prefab connection for some reason, it's very easy to get it. Let me just comment this out, and then you can use the class prefabutility, but it doesn't exist because you need to use the Unity editor namespace. And now you can write prefabutility.instantiateprefab and specify the object to be spawned. And you can specify a parent as well, but this method has limited overloads compared to the original one. And now if you play the game, you can see that they are no longer clones and they are blue. And now you can perform prefab operations by right clicking and prefab, and then now you just select the asset. I don't usually use this because it has limited overloads, and in the end you'd have to use normal instantiate instead, because this is only useful during development. To be honest, I don't use it at all, but I'm just showing you because this may be something that you want to do. I'll just comment this out. That's it, that's how we spawn a game object. We have this instantiate method with a lot of overloads that we can use, and we can call this at any time to spawn a game object. You can obviously change the arguments of this method to your convenience. So that's it for this video. If you have some tips to share, comment down below so that I can pin them and others may be able to read it more easily. If you didn't like this video, let me know what went wrong for you so that I can work on it. If you have any suggestions on what I should do next, let me know. It would be really helpful. So take care and see you in the next video. I should have worn a different shirt.